It's the PHNX Coyotes podcast, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download today using code PHNX. Bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game, and if they do, you win $200 in free bets. It's just that easy. Thank you so much, everyone, for your patience with our post-game show tonight. I'm Leah Merrill, joined by Craig Morgan. PD is with ESPN tonight with his multi-screen setup going on, so we had to wait for Craig to finish up at media availability. So once again, appreciate everyone's patience. But Craig, another loss.
Yeah, I'm kind of envious of PD right now because he gets to watch Seattle, Vancouver instead of this game. And listen, when you look at the guts of this game, an old saying that I borrowed from Dave Tippett, the Coyotes did a lot of good things tonight. I thought structurally, this was their best game of the season. They gave the Islanders very little tonight, and this is a really, really good team, a legitimate Stanley Cup contender that they played tonight. I'm not sure the Islanders brought their best game, but I think the Coyotes had a lot to do with that, with their structure all over the ice, all three zones. But again, they just couldn't finish. And Andre Tourigny after the game chalked it up to puck luck. You're getting breakaways, you're getting shots from the slot. Connor Timmins hits the post. They had some chances. They definitely had some chances in this game, but they couldn't bury them. And the Islanders walk away with 3-0 win, and the Coyotes still have not won a game this season.
Yeah, and it's such a bummer because this one felt like, besides maybe that Buffalo game, this one felt like it could have gone the Coyotes' way. They had a bunch of opportunities, and I mean a lot of scoring opportunities. They also held the Islanders off from scoring or having shots as well. So it's really unfortunate to see that not only could they not convert offensively, but that of course the Islanders capitalized on their opportunities as well. Once again, 2 penalties at the end of each period, which that's happened before. I almost felt like the first period, it felt like deja vu. Like going through the whole period, everything looks fine. Late goal by the other team, and then at least we didn't get that second period onslaught. But
yeah, they had. I mean, the first goal, when you look at that, that's just it's a mistake by Victor Soderstrom in the offensive zone. They turn the puck over, and if you look at the 2-on-1, Karel Vejmelka was off on his angle. He gave the short side, so it was a terrific shot, but there was a lot of net to shoot there. So one mistake, you're in a 1-0 hole. And then, of course, like you mentioned, they give up that late power play goal, and suddenly the game feels a lot different when you're down 2-0. That hit a body in front. I think Brock Nelson in front. The Islanders get a 2-0 lead. And the way the Islanders play defensively and the way the Coyotes play offensively, that felt pretty secure at that point. And that's unfortunately what I think Coyotes fans are going to see a lot. There are going to be some efforts like this game tonight where you felt like they deserved a better fate, but they don't have the finishers. They don't have those elite skill guys who can put the puck in the net when they get those opportunities. They're going to need a lot more scoring chances for them to generate the same kind of goals that you would expect from other teams. And that's just part of what we're going to deal with this season. It's so hard to evaluate anything in this Coyote season the way you would evaluate a normal season because there's a different goal in mind. As I'm writing on a different topic tonight on the goaltending plan, but it feels like an alternate universe sometimes when you're covering this team during this season. There's always but they're not trying to win. So
yep, and we get that in the Discord when I say, "Oh, like there's hope." Well, that's not what we want, and I think it's a good time to bring up the rebuild reminder.
There it is.
We're going to probably bring it up almost every single time, which it's really too bad. I mean, I will say in terms of individual performances, I feel like Phil Kessel had was setting up a lot of opportunities. None of them were successful, of course, because the Coyotes were shut out, unfortunately. But I felt like I saw Phil Kessel set up a lot of opportunities. Jacob Chikrin, I finally felt like was having some scoring opportunities, which was really good to see. What are your thoughts on the individuals' performance?
Yeah, Jacob Chikrin was one of the guys that Andre Tourigny mentioned in the post game. He said it felt like we were using him a little better than we have in past games, getting him in those situations and allowing him to jump up into the play. So that's a good sign, at least for Jacob Chikrin on an individual level, because it's been a tough start for him, and it's going to be a tough season to have to go through, a year, maybe 2 years of your prime of your career on a team that's just not going to sniff the playoffs. But it looked like he took a step forward. Hopefully that continues for Jacob Chikrin. The other guy that I thought really stood out tonight was Clayton Keller. He was all over the ice. He was creating his possession numbers, or at least his shots for, shots against while he was on the ice. They were terrific. He was making a lot of things happen. But again, couldn't find the back of the net. He had, I think he finished with 4 shots on goal.
4 shots on goal.
And was generating a lot of offense for his line mates as well, because Johan Larsson and Lawson Krause also had pretty good nights. So it was good to see from that standpoint. But again, no goals.
Yeah, and of course we chose Clayton Keller to be our DraftKings king of the game. 4 shots on goal.
By the way.
I know, it's so great. 4 shots on goal, like you said, 16:51 time on ice. And then what was that stat? You texted me that stat, and I said I'd never heard of it before.
Oh, it's just the Corsi for percentage. It's just it basically just measures shots for and shots against while you're on the ice. So and
his was 86.21.
Yeah, it was really gaudy tonight. And it just tells you what how the ice is tilted when his line was on the ice. They were generating a lot of offense, a lot of zone time. They had some chances. It's just they couldn't find the back of the net. But they, the other side of that, of course, is that the other team's not getting anything. And the Islanders really didn't get much most of this game. I came in wondering what we were going to see. The Islanders actually haven't been off to the greatest start. There have been some complaints that there's a little bit of a malaise over that team. When you make deep playoff runs, it's hard to get going right away at the start of the season. I don't think we saw the Islanders team tonight that you're going to see a little later in this season. That I still think this is one of the better teams in the league. But again, the Coyotes had a lot to do with that, with what they were doing. Again, I keep saying this, but structurally, and Andre Tourigny agreed, Liam O'Brien agreed in the postgame when we talked to some of the players. They all agreed that structurally this was probably their best game of the season. They did a lot of things that they liked, and they felt like they deserved a better fate.
Yeah, it's too bad. Another note from that first period, the face-off was 70% to 30% in favor of the Islanders. So that wasn't a great showing for the Coyotes in that sense. Also, can we just talk about a runner-up for King of the Game would have to be the post? Tonight, I think there were 4. 3 that the Islanders hit, 1 the Coyotes hit, I believe. Wow. I mean, that was lucky breaks for the Coyotes.
It was a weird goal that the goal that was disallowed too when they ruled after the Coyotes challenged for goaltender interference on I think it was Brock Nelson, and the officials determined that Karave Melka had actually frozen the puck. And when I watched the replay, I was like, I don't think he did freeze the puck, but you could make the argument that Nelson hit his pad and knocked him backwards, so he couldn't freeze the puck for a long enough period of time. Anyway, the Islanders ended up scoring moments later and making it 3-0 anyway, and then for all intents and purposes, the game was over.
Yeah, I know that. That was just. Yeah. You felt like, and just like every other time, the third period, you feel like, okay, this could be a turning point. This could be the moment, and they just haven't been able to capitalize. You mentioned Liam O'Brien. He was back in the lineup tonight. He had a fight on the night. What did you think of his game tonight?
I've liked him most times I've seen him. He brings a physical presence. He's a really hard worker. He brings some jets to the game. I like the energy that he brings to the ice. I think he could be an effective 4th-line player for them. And as I've mentioned many times, I also love his beard. He's got the best beard on the team without question.
Incredible
At some
beard.
point, I'm going to write about that beard. Just the story on the beard. That's my
brought to you by Manscaped, maybe.
There you go.
Oh my goodness. I know. I'm sure everyone's super disappointed that Petey's not here.
No Petey Reed tonight. Yeah.
No, but he did. I will say he did send me an email, and he wrote me my own Manscaped read. So even when he's not working here, he's still providing the Manscaped read. So we'll get to that a little bit later.
Can hardly wait. He wrote one for you.
He did write one for me. It is. I just want to say now, it is just not the level that
PG rated.
Yeah, it's very G rated because
that's very good for Pete.
I just cannot.
With all he had to do tonight for ESPN, he's still doing that. Look at
I know
team player.
You should have seen the text he sent me and Craig earlier. What was that, like 8 TVs or something in front of him? So
I'm so used to him. Like in front of that, say like when I did a story on him a couple of years ago, that was one of the shots I took. Him staring at like 10 screens. I don't even know how he does it, but he's so used to it that it's just second nature.
But even when I watch the games with him at the studio, we have the TV on and then he has his laptop on as well. And he's watching both things. And it's the same game. It's just at two different points in the game. I don't know. I don't know how he does it. What else? Let's talk about Vejmelka. Obviously, he got the start again tonight. Do we think, I mean, again, a loss, but there obviously hasn't been a win yet. But was his performance tonight good? Do you feel like he'll get the next start? Do you kind of see him taking on that number one role for now? Or do you think, I mean, we've been wrong like 50% of the time trying to guess the goaltender situation, but
I think right now that they're still sort of feeling things out with their goaltending situation. I talked to Bill Armstrong, the general manager, before the game tonight. I'll have a story really diving into what they're seeing from the goalies and what the plan is. And I'm not going to give everything away on that right on the show. But listen, it's 2 games for Carter Hutton. They were clearly not good games. You can't play anything close to that level and expect to be in an NHL net for long. But they're not at the point where they're going to say, yeah, Carter Hutton's not going to play anymore. They're about to embark, and we're going to talk about this in a minute too, on a brutal 6-game road trip. You can't play one goalie. You're going to have to play Carter Hutton. And I don't see him, I don't see them making any sort of roster move that would remove Carter Hutton from the lineup. He's going to play on this road trip. So I'll put it that way. And then we might as well segue right into that road trip because, wow, look at that road trip. They start with Florida, one of the fastest teams in the league, and off to a great start. Then they go to the defending Cup champs, the 2-time defending Cup champs. They go to play the Capitals. They play the Carolina Hurricanes. They play Philadelphia, which is another team off to a great start. And then at the tail end of this 6-game road trip,
it's so random.
It is. And you think, okay, this is the game they could win, but you're at the tail end of a 6-game road trip and you have to fly from Philadelphia to Anaheim. You do get a couple days in between, but they're going to play the Ducks on the last game of a 6-game road trip. I look at this road trip, Leah, and I'm wondering where they're going to get a win. You never know what's going to happen in this league. They're crazy nights, but it's a really hard trip. And by the time they come back, this could be one giant hole that they're in.
Yeah, and the Panthers right now are at the top of the Eastern Conference, 5-0. The Hurricanes are up toward the top of their division, 4-0. The Capitals, 3-0-2. I mean,
not many losses in that bunch. I think Tampa might have the most losses of those 5 teams they're facing on the East Coast.
Tampa is 2-1. So, but it's Tampa.
It's Tampa, exactly.
But
I don't know.
But look at the Islanders are on their what is it, a 15-game?
Yeah, it could be worse, right?
Road trip and
until their new arena opens. So
I know it's crazy.
I gotta believe with the Islanders, they're just thinking, okay, tread water. Because once this thing is over, man, are we going to have the schedule in our favor? Yeah, definitely. So good for the Islanders, I guess. And good for us because we get the loss and, it's a rebuild. The rebuild reminder. You're going to keep putting this up, aren't you? I'm just going to keep putting it up. Okay. All the time. We just have to remember. There was a comment earlier. Someone said a win or a loss is a win and then a win is a double loss. I don't know. I have to go find the comment, but it was well said. It was well said. But of course, we had mentioned that Clayton Keller was our DraftKings king of the game. And you can bet on these games, just like everyone in the comments is talking about betting the under for Coyotes wins on the season. You can do so on the DraftKings Sportsbook app if you sign up using the promo code PHNX and place a $5 bet on any NFL team. And if that team wins, you get $200 in free bets. So be sure to check out that opportunity. I think the Cardinals game might be a no-brainer if you want to get the $5 guaranteed win team. I think the Cardinals is a good bet. It was funny. The Coyotes were losing this game, and then the Suns game, whatever was going on there, Espo messaged our Coyotes chat and said, we're having a competition to see which game is worse. And I said, well, I think the Coyotes being down 2-0 at the time when he sent that was actually not so bad. So, you know, at least we know that this is going to be a losing year. It's not like the disappointment that the Suns fans might be feeling right now. Part of the difficulty, from a reporting standpoint in a game like this, is who do you talk to after this game? I mean, we were joking in the press box. We're just going to spin a wheel and see who we come up with on a nightly basis. Because you lose 3-0, you lose again. It's what new perspective or spin can they put on it? It's clear that, and we talked about this, that they played a good, sound, structural game, but there's not much more to say than that, other than we're going to stick with it. We think better days are ahead. You've heard all those things before, and that's what they have to say, right? They have to stay committed. They have to believe. But man, when you know what your organization is trying to do, it's got to add another wrinkle in the locker room.
I know, it's really, I can't even imagine what that's like mentally. I always appreciate Andrew every post game advocating betting against the Coyotes, and he said if it's going to suck with the losses, you may as well be profitable. And once again, DraftKings Sportsbook app, use that promo code PHNX when you sign up. 21 and over, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Craig, what do you have coming up on GoPHNX.com?
Well, like I mentioned, I've got a story on the goaltending plan, and as we're going back to Florida, I've got a piece planned on Jacob Chikrin and Shane Gostisbehere. Again, I don't like to give away all of my material here on the show, but they're two guys from South Florida, so the tie-in is pretty obvious. We're going to dive a little into their past in a feature that's coming out on Monday, and then I'm going to have some game recaps from the road trip, but I've got a fun story that I don't even want to tell anyone about yet. But I think people are really going to enjoy this, and it makes perfect sense to write this story early in this crazy season.
That's a good teaser, and you can get access to Craig's stories by becoming a member at GoPHNX.com. If we're going to have to watch a losing team all season, you might as well supplement it with reading good content by Craig and by all the other amazing writers at GoPHNX.com. And right now we have a promotion going on that if you sign up for the annual membership and you use the promo code Coyotes 2021, you'll get a $60 gift card to the PHNX locker. So you can get 2 shirts with that. You can get our awesome Coyotes shirt, which I am waiting for mine in the mail. I cannot wait to get it. We've been loving getting all the pictures of people at the games with theirs. So keep sending us those. We love to see those as well. So it's a great time to become a member at GoPHNX.com and support Craig, support all of us at PHNX. There's a lot of great stuff going on, and I know a lot of people too are fans of all the teams. So if you want to follow the Cardinals, if you want a winning team, you can hop over. There's Cardinals content. So a lot of great
one-stop shopping.
Exactly. There's a lot of content there. Another thing I wanted to bring up, Craig, was that Dyson Mayo, of course, played his first NHL game the other night. He had his first NHL goal, and then he was scratched tonight. Was that a surprise to you, or kind of a standard thing? He might have been scratched whether or not he had that goal.
Yeah, I don't expect Dyson Mayo to be a major part of this team this season. I think the reason he was here is because Vladislav Provolnev went down to Tucson to get some games. He's going to play a little bit. They'll take a look at him and see how well he adapts, because they do want to get him back up here and get him in the lineup. Dyson Mayo is just a guy who's going to be, one of those call-up guys that fills in here and there. It was a nice reward for him, and it was really cool that he got a goal in that game with his wife and kid in the stands watching the game. So that was a nice story. But yeah, he's not one of their top prospects. He's probably not a guy that factors into their plans down the road. So good that he got a game. Victor Soderstrom back in the lineup tonight, and as I mentioned earlier, he made that mistake where he was too deep in the offensive zone, turned the puck over. They get a 2-on-1 and get the first goal. Those are the kind of things to watch. I know people are excited about Soderstrom's offensive abilities, but watch the decision-making, watch the reads, watch his play away from the puck. Those are the things, when I watch him, I still don't think he's NHL ready. I think he's going to end up back in Tucson at some point when Provolnev, comes up, or when Kyle Capobianco comes back off IR. I really think the best thing for Victor Soderstrom would be to head down to Tucson and really play a lot of minutes in all situations away from the pressure cooker of the NHL.
Yeah, I noticed too that a lot of the Coyotes' goals against, have come from offensive zone breakdowns, and then it turns the other way, and the other team, the opponent, gets a rush on the goalie. It's not so much, sustained zone pressure that the other teams are scoring. It's those, something happens in the other zone and someone breaks down and the other team goes the other way, and that's where the goals against are coming from. So, a lot of that has to do with, the youth on this team, the all the new people. I mean, it's just
no question. Unfamiliarity with each other, unfamiliarity with the systems, so you got to manage the puck better. But also, one of the things that I notice on a nightly basis watching this team, when you talk about those transition goals, and that's a big part of the NHL these days, is scoring in transition, because or off the cycle. Those are two ways that you'll see, other than special teams, that teams are trying to generate offense. But when you get those rush chances, there's some teams that recover really well and can cover those chances because they have speed. The Coyotes don't have a lot of team speed either, so they can't make up that ground in those situations.
I know. And there was even one moment tonight where I felt like there was an opportunity. And granted, I think they had been on the ice for a while, so it was a tired unit, but where there could have been that opportunity if it was a fresh pair of legs on the ice, if the speed was there could have been that offensive opportunity. And instead it was, tired, slow. It's just like kind of disappointing to watch that. And then you get all these opponents who have that speed, and you're like, the Coyotes need speed too, and it's just not there. So, I mean, like we said already, I mean, a 3-0 loss, although shutouts are just never fun, but 3-0 loss, is that better than a 7-4 loss? I mean, a loss is a loss, but
Andre Tourigny said it himself. There's no moral victories. We want to win, but we were happy with a lot of parts of our game. So, there's good and bad, right? You can take some good things from this game if you're a coach, to encourage your players, at least for a while, until the losses start stacking up. But you can point to those things and say, hey, we did a lot of good things. Let's keep with that, and hopefully we'll get some results.
Yeah. I would love – I know we already talked about it, but I'm just thinking about that road trip, trying to think where the win's going to come, and I just don't know.
They need one for their confidence so badly. You need to see some sort of payoff. When you see a team giving this kind of effort and really getting better in those structural parts of the game on a game-to-game basis, they probably deserve some sort of payoff. I'm sure it's going to come at some point. There's no NHL team that's going to go 0-82, but you wonder how long it's going to take. Hey, by the way, as long as we were talking about Tucson, a couple of notes from there. I didn't see the final score, but Liam Kirk got his first goal.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
Very cool for him. First goal as a North American pro anyway. And also there was this rumor out there that was floating earlier today that a lot of teams had been calling about Barrett Hayton.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I can tell you definitively they're not looking to trade Barrett Hayton. He is still very much a big part of their future. Look, GMs field calls all the time from one another. That's just how the business works. There are always people inquiring. And when you see a situation like Barrett Hayton headed back to Tucson yet again, a third straight season where he's not cracking the NHL roster, there are GMs out here who think, hey, the guy is still a good player. He has potential. I wonder if they're considering giving him a fresh start somewhere else. That's not in the Coyotes' plans. They are not looking to trade Barrett Hayton.
I just checked in on the Roadrunners game, and it is 3-0 Roadrunners. So
all right. There you go.
We got a lot of comments in the Discord and on Twitter about people being glad that they bought the AHL TV package this year. We can watch some winning teams in the Coyotes organization, so that's always good to see.
I have it myself.
You have or have not? You have?
I do. Yeah, I bought it myself.
The AHL package.
Yep. And we're gonna have to get the entire PHNX crew down there, at least the Coyotes crew, down to Tucson at some point. We gotta go take in a game and maybe do a show from down there.
Oh, we'll 100%. Yeah. It's in the cards. I don't know when, but it's in the cards. Another roster note that I noticed that was Fisher back centering a line tonight.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say on that one. That's just bizarre to me. He's not a center. He probably shouldn't be there, but they're trying anything right now just to fill roster spots, just to fill spots on lines. It's a little bizarre seeing him there. He doesn't belong in the center position. He's a wing.
It is bizarre. Craig, have you heard anything, or do you suspect that the Coyotes might plan to make any roster moves in the coming weeks, and whether that be waivers or any players who are still unsigned free agents. I mean, could you see something like that potentially happening, or is this kind of
there's always the potential, depending on who's available, but I'm not getting any sense that they're looking to make a roster move right now. Again, you make roster moves when you're trying to do what?
Win.
Yes. Yeah. I don't see anything happening. And listen, the goaltending thing is something to watch. Not right now. I don't think it's something to watch right now. But listen, if Carter Hutton keeps struggling that mightily, you can't keep putting a guy in net who's giving up 7 and 8 goals, because the team in front of you they lose all confidence. They play a different way when a guy behind them is struggling like that. You can't keep doing that. But again, we're only 2 games in, so it's not time to write off Carter Hutton yet.
Yeah, it's true. And I know, God, and by the way, I know I keep saying 0-82. I mean 0-81-1, but I just mean in terms of the lack of wins. Just to clarify, that's what I am trying to, the point I'm trying to get across when I say that as well. But also back on the note of the Roadrunners, you can actually bet on AHL and the Roadrunners on DraftKings also.
You can. So, I thought we talked about this before where we couldn't find it.
Well, I think they just didn't have it up yet because it was before the season had started. But you can bet. You can bet on the AHL. You can bet on NCAA. I know ASU they won tonight, correct?
Yeah. Speaking of the Pipeline, Josh Doan had a goal, and they lost to Colgate. I think it was 8-3 yesterday, and they came back and won in overtime today. That's a good win on the road for ASU, and that sets them up. Everything's about the pairwise rankings at the end of the season, whether you get into the tournament or not. And that's while it's not a regulation win, it's weird the way the pairwise rankings work. They got to win in Colgate. That's going to help them. And I think they have a series now against St. Thomas where they're going to sweep that before they have to go face a really tough team in Quinnipiac. So they really needed that win tonight to sort of keep the season afloat and keep them pointed in the right direction, because they're going to play a lot of home games over the latter half of the schedule.
For sure. Someone in the comments just said Ben McCartney hat trick for the Roadrunners tonight.
Look at that. Wait, is it 3-0? Did they change the
it was
goal?
4-0. It was 4-0.
Okay.
They had scored since I last looked.
Ben McCartney, another guy who had a great camp. It just showed a lot. That's great to see for him. Another 7th round draft pick, right?
See, part of our pack therapy here is we have to find all of the positives, and the positives are the Roadrunners are having success. ASU, maybe not like the most success that they want to be having, but they are winning games, and the prospects are showing potential. Of course, we've mentioned Josh Doan. I mean, I think is he leading it in assists or something like that?
He's got 12 points right now in 8 games. I think he's 4th in the NCAA in points as a freshman. Granted, a little older of a freshman because he played the 2 years in the USHL, but still, he stepped into the NCAA, which is it's usually a tough transition, and he's among the leaders in scoring there as well. So that's a really good sign for Josh Doan as another Coyotes prospect, a guy again that I think some of the scouts or some of the scouting services thought was taken a little too high, but I don't think they delved into his story enough to understand what was happening there. He was such a late bloomer, including in his body. He just grew all of a sudden. And he's a guy that because he was small most of his formative years, he learned to play a skill style, and then suddenly he's got this big body to go along with the skill. He's a really intriguing prospect. As soon as he learns completely how to use his body as well with the skills that he already has, I'm really interested to see where it goes for Josh Doan.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and there is a lot of good hockey here in Arizona to consume. And of course, like I said, you can get if you're sick of betting against the Coyotes, you can bet on NCAA, on AHL, all of that using the DraftKings Sportsbook app, using that promo code PHNX and betting $5 on any NFL team to win. And if they do, you get your $200 in free bets that you can use however you like. I think it's time. I don't know how to transition this. It's time to read the Manscaped read that P.
Oh, let's hear it.
Emailed me, and I just want it's not a whole story or anything like that, but I just really appreciate the fact that he took time out of his day today to sit down and write something out for me to read because he's not here.
And a G-rated one at that.
And it's G-rated because he knows. Okay. He said, wrote this clean Manscaped All right, here we go. Support for the PHNX Coyotes postgame show is brought to you by our friends at Manscaped, the leaders in male grooming. Manscaped is there for all of your male grooming needs. Just go to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with the code PHNX. Manscaped takes care of all of your private grooming needs, but it also takes care of your serious male grooming as well. They have the Plow, a one-blade razor for a clean shave on your face to remove that 5 o'clock shadow. They have an all-over body wash and cologne to keep you fresh and smelling clean all day. Manscaped even has a luxury nail kit, the Shears, to help your fingernails looking their best. Manscaped. Check it out for all of your grooming needs, not just the private ones. Get 20% off and free shipping with code PHNX at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code PHNX at manscaped.com. Keep your whole body trimmed, fresh, and clean with Manscaped.
The family version. Look at Petey. That's impressive. He's versatile.
He really is. He really is. And I know that he was on the website looking up things that had nothing to do with the private things. I just know he was, but be sure to use that code, everyone. It's a great offer, free shipping, 20% off. And tweet at us when you do. It would make Petey very, very happy. He takes this part of his job extremely seriously.
Clearly, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, Craig, is there anything else we want to add from this game? I mean, kind of like we said, it was a better performance. It just didn't go their way. It seems like the players and coach thought so too. I mean, it's 5 losses in a row. Pack therapy. Here we are. Every post game. Will we ever have a win celebration?
It's going to come at some point. It may even come on this road trip for which I have to leave, and I don't even want to count the few hours until my flight. I've got an early morning flight heading to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, that area, and then to Sunrise for the first game against the Panthers. Looking forward to that. Like I said, I've got that story coming on Jacob Chikrin and Shane Gostisbehere, 2 South Florida boys. So looking forward to telling that story and maybe not focusing on a game so much.
Look at that. And of course, like we said before, become a member at gophnx.com. Get those stories. Craig is going on the first half of this road trip to Florida and then to DC. So he'll still be calling into all of our post-game shows from there as well. And follow him on Twitter at Craig S. Morgan to get all of the best coverage of the Coyotes. Follow me on Twitter as well at Leah Merrill, PD at S. Peters Hockey, our main account at PHNX_Coyotes. That's where it all is. And then all of our PHNX sports pages on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all of it. Thank you so much again for everyone being flexible with our start time tonight. And we will see everybody post-game on Monday from Florida.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. See you from Florida.
Thanks. Have a good night, everyone.